Well, all this week we've been speaking with the author of this book, Culture Shock. His name, pastor and radio Bible teacher Chip Ingram. He's joining us once again. Chip, there has been an increased focus on the environment over the last few decades, from recycling to pollution, to greenhouse gas emissions, to global warming. The environment is central to what we hear on the news as well as political agendas on a daily basis. Chip, hasn't the environment been at the heart of God's agenda from the beginning of time?
Well, John, as I read the Bible, I would say the environment has been the top on God's list since day one. You know, the point of the earth, the garden, the perfect environment was so He could be with us. He created a place that He calls good. In fact, it was perfect. Eden was perfect. It was designed with just the right amount of the water, the canopy, the animals, the plants, the beauty. And it reflected, we know, it reflected the beauty of God, the wisdom of God. And so, yes, God created the environment. He always cares about what He created. And then even after we fell, you know, that command, we're to have dominion, we're to care for it, we're to supervise it, we're co-regents, co-creators. God's first job given to mankind before sin entered was care for this earth. Don't exploit it, care for it. Be a wise steward of it. You be to the earth what I have been to. I created it for this purpose, and now I'm entrusting it to you. And even Romans chapter 8, it's interesting that when redemption comes, think about this. Currently, the creation is groaning. The creation is longing. Sin entered in by our human fault in rebellion and coup against God. And creation fell. God never intended for tornadoes or tsunamis or any of these things that we see happen in creation. They're ultimately a result of sin. But creation is waiting and yearning and longing for full redemption. And then I don't know if you've done much studying about heaven, but yes, there is an intermediate heaven, and to be absent from the Lord is to be in the presence of God. But the ultimate new heaven and new earth, there's going to be a place one day a lot like the first place. The new earth is going to be just like the old earth, except no problems, no sin. The lion will lie down with the lamb. It'll be beautiful. It'll be spectacular. And we'll then learn how to be with God in a creation or an environment by His special design. So God, from the beginning to the end, thinks very carefully and actually in an amazing ways about the environment.
That is some great thoughts straight from the scriptures, Chip. Thank you. Our God is the creator God, and I don't think it should come as any surprise to anyone that the Creator is concerned with His creation, as you say, from the beginning to the end, including this present time. You remind us, Chip, that the creation, the environment, all of that is waiting and longing and yearning for redemption one day. That wasn't God's original plan as He entrusted us with the stewardship of the environment. But over time, God has allowed us to say, this is something we should step up to do to make sure that we tackle the nature, the environment, all that the planet is, and make sure that we preserve it for His glory. It's an important issue, and you have helped us once again on a cutting-edge critical cultural issue. In your book, in Chip's book, The Culture Shock, a biblical response to today's most divisive issues, he talks at greater length, not only about the environment, but other issues related to human sexuality, politics, the state of the church today. There's some concerning things in these chapters. You will agree with some things, you may disagree with other things, but you need to know what the conversational topics are and how you can respond from a biblical worldview.